Hi everyone, I'm Amy from the Cauldron, and in this Vlogmas I'm going to be over-dyeing some yarn that I have here, some beautiful red yarn. This was dyed in Scarlet, which is an acid dye from Dharma. If you've watched any of my dye time videos before, you'll know that whenever I get a new colour, a new dye, I like to dye up these 10-gram skeins so I know what the colour looks like and know how it behaves, etc. But then I always have these 10-gram skeins left over, and they're really fun to over-dye. And today I am over-dyeing it with Emerald, which is an acid dye from DT Craft and Design. Now if you have a look at the colour in here, very sort of brown sandy colour, and I have just dissolved it in some water and it's turned blue. Now I have dyed this because I have got my little swatch card and it does come up with this colour, so I'm really hoping that it will dye this colour. I think the only time I've used it was to dye this, and I remember being surprised by the colour of the powder dye, but I couldn't remember what the liquid dye would look like. Now this, I can see hints of green in there, so I'm just going to go for it. Yeah, look, you can see there's blue and green in there. I wonder if I didn't mix it up well enough. Possibly. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit more green. Yeah. In my dye time videos, I do like to do experiments, and I do fun things like that. So if this is your first dyeing video with me, do go and check out some of my other dye time videos. This is all this stuff is dedicated for dyeing. I don't use it for food. I've got my gloves on, and when I weighed out this dye, I did have my mask on because I don't want to be breathing this stuff in. Oh, that water certainly looks more green now, which is great because it is supposed to be green. It really threw me. I wonder if I just didn't I just didn't mix it up well enough. So this skein has been sitting in this just plain tap water for a while now. I set this to pre-soak a couple of days ago actually, and and then haven't had time to do anything with it. Almost forgot. I need some vinegar because I'm dyeing an animal fibre. It needs the correct dye. It needs heat, which I've got here on the stove, and it also needs vinegar to bind to the yarn. Now I'm going to do a sort of dip dye, I think. Yeah, so it's quite a brown at the moment. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a green on this because green and red mixed together does make a brown. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm just going to hang that over the edge just for a second. Got my tongs. Again, these are dedicated for dye tongs. I'm just going to wind it up a bit and just going to keep that edge, that bit that I've already dipped in there. Hopefully we'll start seeing a bit more of a green, or maybe a more deep red, reddish brown colour. I don't know. I haven't actually over-dyed this sort of colour with a green before, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to leave this. I think I'm going to leave that so that we've got some of this beautiful red still here, and then we've got this colour, which, looking at it more and more, it's not going to be green, but it could be a nice deep reddish brown. I don't know. We'll see. It's been on for about 10 minutes, and that is a really lovely dark colour. It'll be interesting to see what sort of colour this is once it's dried. Certainly not green. It might be sort of a greenish tinge. but there is a hint of colour left in here. So I'm happy with this. I'm going to take this out and yeah, see the water coming off of that is clear. It's bound to the yarn. I'm just going to put that to the side for a second. Now there is a little bit of colour left in here, not much, but I don't like to waste dye. And I have here a little skein of the same yarn. It's less than 10 grams. I can't remember exactly how much it is. And this is dry. You can see there's barely any colour in there. So I'm just going to dump that in and hopefully that will pick up the rest of the colour. I've got another idea for this. We'll see that in another time. I'm going to leave this. Hopefully it will pick up all the dye. And it looks like most of the dye has been picked up already. So it's just going to stay on the heat for about 20 minutes now. And I wanted to move over to here because I have decided to do a second stage of this dyeing. Take this off and I'm going to speckle on this red section, see if we can get any green to come through. Now, I'm just going to leave that dyed section to the side and make sure my hands are completely dry. And put my mask back on, going back into the emerald green. And I'm just going to speckle on this red. I'm very curious to see if I can get any green spots or not. Now I've protected my surface with a towel and some cling film. I'm really not very good at speckling. If you've seen any of my dye time videos, you'll know that speckling is a technique I really struggle with. See, there's a massive splodge of dye right there. Just going to try flipping it. It's so difficult to flip things when it's on top of cling film and I've got gloves on. Actually, the dye seems to have gone through quite well here. I'm happy. I think if I do any more, it's going to get too much. So I'm just going to put the lid back on. I'm going to cover this section up. Just try and avoid a bit of transfer onto itself. Just going to wipe my fingers on this. It's still the same colour and hopefully I might get a bit more dye onto that. Now I need to set this extra dye that I have added to this yarn, so I'm going to steam set it now. I've got my kettle boiling and I'm going to set this for probably about 30-45 minutes. This has been on the heat for as long as it took to speckle the other skein. This is our beautiful minty green and this water is completely clear now. But I'm not going to leave this yarn like this. I am going to make it a little bit more Christmassy. So tune into Vlogmas tomorrow to see how I make this a little bit more Christmassy. This yarn has completely cooled down now. So let's unravel this. See, there's quite a bit of green on the cling film, which will probably mean there's a bit of runoff. Little bit of bleeding, hopefully not too much though. Oh, quite a lot of blue is coming out. That wasn't what I was expecting. Looks like it was just that little bit of blue. Okay, now that I'm just using cold tap water. Just going to add a little bit of washing up liquid. This will help dislodge any of that excess dye that hasn't come out yet. But actually, that is looking pretty good. I think that little bit of blue runoff was just because there was dye in the cling film. Yeah, that's looking good to me. I am happy with that. So, there we go. Yeah, doesn't look like there's any more bleeding now, which is great. So I'm just going to rinse this through and then hang it out to dry. And here is my finished yarn.
Now, I will admit, this has really surprised me how this has turned out. I wasn't expecting this at all. Let's start with the section that I overdyed green. Now, this is a lot more green than I was expecting. To be honest, I thought that it would be very brown, sort of like this bit and that bit. So there are patches of the brown, but you can really see that green coming through. I think it's really great. It's all patchy and all different shades, and it's fun. I'm not quite sure why it's so patchy, because I did leave it in the dye pot. This is a mystery, but it's fun and I really like it. And this bit where I speckled with the emerald powder, I was not expecting it to turn out like this at all. I need to work with this emerald powder some more, because look at all those blues and purples and yellows coming through, and there's pops of orange as well, and it's just it's a hot mess, but it's a fun mess. I'm not sure if this really would be a Christmassy colourway. I don't know if I'd class it as that, but I love it, and I am going to go and dye with that emerald green some more now, because I have not seen breaking like this with an acid dye before. With fibre reactive dyes, they can break quite a lot, but this is just something else, and it is fun. It is a mess. It's just, I absolutely love this. And you can still see some of that red, and there is still some bits of red coming through, which again, I love it. It's not quite the red and green yarn that I originally had in mind, but it is so much better than I ever thought possible. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Vlogmas. I really hope you enjoyed it. Do please click like and subscribe to my channel, and tune in tomorrow for another episode of Vlogmas. If you are enjoying my dyeing videos, I do have a weekly dyeing series called Dye Time, where I publish a new video every Monday around 6 p.m. UK time. And I do like to experiment in that series, so I dye all sorts of things, yarn, and lots of different fibre types, cotton floss. I have a whole load of plant-based fibres that I've just bought that I'm looking forward to dyeing, including pineapple and rose, and there's all sorts of weird and wonderful things there. And so tune in to that if you're enjoying my dyeing videos, and thank you so much for watching.